Hello, welcome to the Shaky Grounds Cafe. My name's Tyler, I'm the game designer and I'm going to be your game master as well. If you're watching this video, you're likely getting ready to play this escape room, and we're going to go over some stuff on what you need to know to play this game. First, we're going to start with some safety information, then we're going to cover the goal of the game. It's a little bit different than some other games you may have played. And then finally, we're going to tell you the backstory so that we can get you in here. Safety stuff. Front door remains unlocked. The goal of this game is not to escape the room, it's to collect a bunch of items. We'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. But once you're inside, the front door remains unlocked. You can leave whenever you want. Just turn the knob and pull. Now you will start locked out, but once you're inside, the door remains unlocked. All right? You're going to do a lot of searching and scavenging while you're inside the cafe. Please keep in mind that the outlets are real. They look fake, but they are real, and I've marked them with this bumblebee tape to remind you of that. In fact, if you see this tape anywhere, that's going to be your sign to please don't touch. It could be a real world item, and in one case it is a watch your head warning, okay? Please don't touch any wires, don't pull on any wires you might happen to find, and don't unplug anything that you might see plugged into the wall. Please don't stand on any furniture. You won't need to reach much more than this above your head. Finally, nothing requires any force to solve. And here we say 2 fingers of force is all you need. If you're applying more than that, you likely just haven't solved the puzzle yet, all right? But please don't force anything open or try to pry anything open, all right? That's not going to be the solution for any of these puzzles. Now you are going to start the game locked out, which means you're going to be on this entry ramp for a minute. It's an uneven surface, but just watch your step. And then you're going to see 2 support cables that are clearly marked in yellow. Please don't lean on those, all right? That's it for safety. Let's talk about how you're going to win this thing. As I mentioned, the goal is not to escape. It's actually to collect a bunch of items that are commonly found in a well-stocked emergency preparedness kit. What that means is when you get inside, on the right-hand side, you're going to find a big long counter, and below that are shelves with clearly marked spaces where objects are to be placed. Your goal is to find all those items and get them in the right spots on the shelf, all right? Make sure you read the tags on the shelf because they're going to give you a good idea of what you're looking for. But more importantly the thing you're looking for is going to nest perfectly in the spot on the shelf. It'll make a little more sense when you're in there, but it's a square peg, square hole situation. It's very important that when you put something on the shelf that the label is right side up and facing you, all right? And finally, you're going to find a lot of items that are in packages. These packages represent something that should be in your emergency preparedness kit. You're not going to need to open any of those packages up. If you find something in a package, it likely just goes on the shelf somewhere. Now, there is one major exception to that rule, but it's usually pretty clear when you get to that point, all right? Up here we have a screen. You can keep track of your time up there. You're going to start with 60 minutes up on the clock, and it'll count down for you. I also periodically put information on that screen that you need to use to solve puzzles. And if you hear a ding, like an order up bell, have a look at that screen. I'm trying to get your attention and give you some information, all right? But if you need a clue, you need to ask for one. And the way you're going to do that is just agree as a group that you're ready for a hint. And just wave your arms and holler, and I will either put some information on that screen for you, or I may just speak to you over the loudspeaker, all right? If you have any questions about how to play the game or about safety, just ask me beforehand. Again, my name's Tyler, and I'll clear up any of the stuff for you. And if that all makes sense, then we're going to move on to the story and get you in there, all right? As I mentioned, this game is about emergency preparedness. All the puzzles you solve today are going to teach you real-world skills about getting ready for natural disasters, all right? When we talk about preparing for natural disasters, what we want to do is focus on the worst case disaster we face where we live and prepare for that. In doing so, we'll be ready for not just that, but all the things that are actually probably more likely going to happen, like a winter storm or something that's just more of an inconvenience. But by preparing for the bigger thing, we're ready for all the things. As you probably know, the worst case disaster we likely face here in the Pacific Northwest is a Cascadia subduction zone earthquake. I'm sure you've heard enough about it, but there's a big earthquake that occurs here in the Pacific Northwest every 300 to 500 years. The last one was 323 years ago. So, it's coming. Not to scare anyone, but that's just the thing we want to prepare for. The Oregon Department of Emergency Management has told us that when the earthquake occurs, we should expect to be on our own for at least 2 weeks. Emergency responders will not be coming door to door to save you, all right? they're going to be busy doing things like trying to get hospitals back online. The expectation is that you can be prepared and responsible enough to take care of yourself and your loved ones for at least 2 weeks. All right? Now, this game takes place 1 week after the earthquake has occurred, and you were not very prepared. You're very fortunate, though, that your home is still standing because you can shelter in place. But it's basically glorified camping at this point because there's no power, there's no water, there's no heat or air conditioning. The sewers don't work. These are all things that are very likely going to happen. The store shelves are empty. You're getting low on food and water and medical supplies. But worst of all, household tensions have reached an entirely new level as you've run out of coffee. I'm going to assume that resonates with most of you. It certainly resonates with me. I started prepping water and then instant coffee right after it. And I don't want to face the apocalypse without a cup of coffee, and neither do you, which is why I've decided to go scavenge the remains of your local coffee shop, the Shaky Grounds Cafe, to see if you can find some. It got boarded up immediately after the earthquake, and no one's been in here since. So there's a good chance you're going to find some coffee and other stuff that would be very helpful to have right now, all right? I also want to point out you happen to know the owner, Sarah, who's given you permission to go take what you want. I am not encouraging looting. But there is a citywide curfew that begins in 1 hour, so you're going to need to get in there, find the coffee, and anything else before the curfew begins, all right? Finally, and most importantly, I need you to keep yourself safe. By that, I mean if at any point anything seems dangerous, hazardous, or unsafe, your immediate priority should be to mitigate that hazard before continuing your search to find the coffee and all the other stuff. Now, if there's any questions, feel free to ask, but that curfew's coming close, and I wish you the best of luck.